This video covers basic intervals. Intervals are our way of measuring distances between two notes, either on the keyboard or on the music staff. Basic intervals are unison, second, thirds, fourth, fifth, sixth, sevenths, and octaves. We need to recall that on the keyboard, each white key is associated with either a line or a space on the staff. So as we go up the keys, say beginning at middle C, C, D, E, F, G, and so on, those notes associated with it are middle C, then D is here on the space, E is on the line, F is on the space, G is on the line, and so on. Our smallest interval is unison. Unison is when we play a note and then we play that same note again. So if you have, for example, a middle C in your music and then the next note you play is another middle C, that's called unison. That's our smallest distance, it's just staying put. When we move from one note to the neighboring note, this is called a second. This interval would be like this 1, 2, from there to there. Think of standing in line, first and second. This distance is called a second, and on the staff it's moving from a line to a space. Sometimes we'll call that a step, but the interval name is actually called a second. When we move from one note and we skip over a note to the next note, that is called a third. So if we start on, for example, C, skip over the D and land on E, sometimes that's referred to as a skip. It's called a third. 1, 2, 3. And on the staff, that would be going from middle C to E. So this distance here from a line to a line, that's a skip, that's a third. Another example of a third could be from F, 1, 2, 3, to A. See, that's 1, 2, 3, so that's a third. So F is here, and A is there. So moving from a space to a space, that's a skip. We're skipping over the line note G. So that's a third. 1, the line is 2, the space is 3 for a third. The next size interval would be a fourth. If we come back down to our C, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So from C to F is a fourth. F is here in the space. If we were just looking at our notes, we would count from our line 1, the space is 2, the line is 3, and the space is 4. So this is a fourth. Going to G, from C to G would be a fifth. Here's our G on the staff. So a fifth is like a double skip. We're on a line, we jump to another line, and jump to another line. That's our fifth. Line is 1, the space is 2, the next line is 3, the space is 4, and that line is a fifth. So there's our fifth. From C to A is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is what it looks like on our staff. Our line is 1, space is 2, line 3, the space is 4, this line is the fifth, and then that space is the sixth. From C to B is an example of a seventh. Again, counting our notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that's a seventh. And counting every line and space from our starting note to our ending note. The line is 1, the space is 2, the line is 3, that space is 4, that line is 5, space is 6, that line is 7. And then finally, from C to C is an example of an octave, and your octave looks like this. Line is 1, space is 2, line is 3, space is 4, line is 5, space is 6, line is 7, and the final space is 8. Those are your basic intervals. There are more complex intervals, and there are also harmonic and melodic intervals, and those will be reviewed and discussed in a separate video.